Raz, struggle with the forces of darkness and gloom. Myths of ancient Egypt. When Ra ascended the throne, the eternal enemy of the sun, the gigantic serpent Apapa, an evil monster 450 cubits long, the sun god in an attempt to overthrow and destroy him. Ra engaged the serpent in battle. The bloody battle lasted an entire day, from dawn to dusk, and finally, the Lord of all existence triumphed, defeating his enemy. But the evil Apap was not killed. Gravely wounded, he dove into the river and swam into the Duat. Since then, Apap has lived underground and every night attacks the boat of eternity as it sails through the Duat from west to east. The enemies of the sun god often take the form of hippopotamuses and crocodiles. The god of gods must constantly repel their hordes to protect the world order and law. He is assisted in this by other gods: Shu, Onures, the warrior god, Montu, Horus-Abedita, son of Ra, and Nutanda, solar cheetah goddess. Together with Ra, they slew the giant crocodile Magu, impaling him with spears. But most often, evil forces and fiends, seeking to destroy the sun, attack the boat of eternity in the form of snakes. However, Ra and his companions invariably defeat their enemies. One of the villains, a giant multicolored serpent Ra, killed under the sacred sycamore tree of Helios, assuming the guise of the great cat. And yet, the sun god has more than just enemies among snakes. The cobra Urias itself destroys Ra's enemies with its incinerating rays. The serpent Mehenta protects the boat of eternity during Ra's journey through the Duat. The snake goddess Meretseger guards the tombs of the Theban necropolis, where the deceased pharaohs rest. The tale of Horus-Abedit. Tewinget Sun. In the 36th year of Rahorikti's earthly reign, the sun god was in Nubia, accompanied by his fearless army. Meanwhile, a conspiracy was brewing in Egypt. Demons of darkness, dissatisfied with Ra's rule, were preparing a rebellion. Horus, the son of Ra, and Nut, patron of the city of Bedit, learned of this. Ra was sailing in his boat. Horus-Abedit was also in the boat of Ra, and he said to his father, Rahorikti, "I see enemies plotting against their mighty ruler." The sun god commanded Horus to immediately engage in battle with the conspirators. Horus assumed the form of a winged solar disk, soared into the heavens, and spotted the enemy camp from above. He prepared for battle, uttered a war cry, and fell upon the demons of darkness with such swiftness and rage that he slew the entire horde in an instant, leaving not a single head alive. Triumphant, Horus returned to his father's boat and invited Rahorikti and his daughter Astarte, the warrior goddess and patroness of war chariots, to the site of the massacre to admire the fallen enemies, and his majesty departed. The lord of the world and his retinue gazed for a long time upon the valley strewn with corpses. Having enjoyed the spectacle, Ra said to Thoth, "This means that my enemies have been punished, and therefore this region will henceforth be called Edge." But Horus did not destroy all of Ra's enemies in Egyptian land. Many still remained who plotted against the ruler. They all transformed themselves into crocodiles and hippopotamuses, took refuge in the waters of Hapi, and from there, ambushed, they again attacked the sacred boat. Then Horus-Abedit arrived with his companions, who followed him like harpooniers. They slew the crocodiles and hippopotamuses and carried off 651 enemies at once. After this brilliant victory, his second, Horus again assumed the form of a winged solar disk and stationed himself on the prow of the boat of eternity, taking with him Nokbet and Wajet, as to Urei, terrifying enemies. The solar boat pursued the fleeing enemy army across Egypt, from the lower to the upper, and Horus won many more victories at various cities. The bloodiest was the final battle in the Nome of Meret. Horus-Abedit carried out a great slaughter of the demons there, took 381 captives, and slew them before the boat of Ra. Then the lord of the fiends, Set, himself, attacked Horus. They fought for an hour, and Horus-Abedit was victorious again. He captured Set, shackled him in stocks, dragged him by the feet through the city of Meret, and plunged his spear into his head and back. But the evil spirit escaped. He transformed into a roaring serpent and entered the earth in that city Meret, and was never seen again. After his final victory over the forces of evil, Rahoract commanded Thoth to place a winged solar disk in all the temples of Egypt as a memorial to Horus's deeds.